Welcome to Patscast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Chris.
This is our episode for February 24th, 2019.
Into the top of the left circle, to the back door, McLennan, great glove save, McNabb, that's disgusting! Yarmolenko kept it in, but his cross-ice feet at the line comes to center. Now Massier steals, he's got a shorthanded breakaway straight in on McNaughton, and he scores! Carter Massier, the shorthanded wizard! Bonneville fan on a dump in from there, and the Warriors are up ice. Daniel Stepanov into the left pad circle. Cross-ice feet, great glove save for Max Paddock. Sensational stop, denying Luke Ormsby a sure goal in the back door. What a save.
Great, we got a couple games to look at this week. Let's kick it off with the game against Kootenay. We were sitting there thinking, boy, this is one of the worst games we've seen them play in quite a while.
Yeah, it was a rough start, and we're thinking we need these 2 points. We need to beat Kootenay. Like, this team's lower in the standings than us, one of the few teams that are.
Yeah.
And we're trying to stay out of that draft lottery, so, like, this is a key 2 points we need, and they just look terrible. They came out looking...
One of the worst games we've seen in a long time. And Kootenay, like you said, is one of the few teams that's worse than us. And the last time they were here, we thought we should win the game easily, and they took it to us again. And we're thinking, why? What is with this Kootenay team that either they play up or we play down against them?
Yeah, and they looked good against us on Wednesday.
Right. They looked pretty good, right? And we just, boy, that was ugly. It was ugly for a while. The power plays were slow to develop, no energy. And then what happened, right?
I don't know, maybe the fight by Feist, maybe.
We were talking about that throughout this week, actually, how this team can go with the flip of a switch, and it's sometimes not even a period change. It just is something happens, and it can be a totally different looking team within a few seconds, one team versus the other team. And I mean, that's what happened. I guess we could look at the fight or the goaltender change with Paddock playing. Arguably, we've said it a lot through this year. When he's not hot and he's having a bit of a bad game, it really gets exposed.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what was happening. He had a couple he should have had, kind of an unlucky bounce off. I don't know. It was kind of like the inside of his leg and then in.
Yeah, then the goal line shot there.
Yeah, and then the other where the winger just came in and he just
it was on his right side, just under his arm or whatever. Yeah,
he just missed it. So obviously he wasn't seeing the puck well. And then the game changed, and McNabb came in. He only made 13 saves, but did his job.
He was key late there, the 5-on-3.
Right.
The cup, and the defensive breakdowns were still kind of happening, and he made some great glove saves.
Well, when he was there without his stick.
That too, yeah.
And he robs that guy with his glove. That was, yeah. So in the end, the game turned on a dime there. Kicked off with Puto with a goal, slap shot goal. He doesn't get a lot, so that was a nice one to see. And then, the game changed, and we took it to them.
Yeah, got a lucky one from behind the icing line.
Yeah, we had a few lucky ones, kind of make up for some of those maybe ones that were a bit easier for them. And
yeah, then the goalie, like the second one that we got lucky from behind the icing line, the goalie played it, and then it looked like he was out of the playing, or in that corner area where you're not allowed to play it. I'm like, oh, isn't that a penalty?
Yeah.
But then he coughed it up, and then we got a goal out of it anyway. Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, well, we'll take that.
Yeah.
So, and then overtime, it didn't look too good for us. Krebs was out there, I think, like 4 out of the 5 minutes.
Yeah, he was out there a lot. He looked good that game, too.
Yeah, he did.
Played really well. He had some nice moves where, who was it, the defenseman? Was it Puto or someone was just standing there, kind of got flat foot or a little off balance and just swinging his stick. Krebs just made him look silly.
Right, yeah, it was Puto, that's what it was.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he had his stick out in front of him and tried to get the puck off him. And Krebs went right by him, so he spins around, tries to stick swing at him a second time. Yeah. And then he made the pass across, I think, on that play. And then it was one of the nice saves by McNabb.
Yeah, he looked good. He had one of the shootout goals for them. Ultimately, we took this one, and it was for as bad as it was, it ended up being pretty fun game to be at, right? It's one of those ones that you kind of get rewarded for sticking it out and coming on that cold Wednesday
and not leaving early.
Not leaving early, like we saw a number of people do.
Yeah.
I still don't get why people do that.
Yeah.
It was people were leaving we were down by 1.
Yeah.
With minutes left and we were playing good. Why would you do that? So
you already made the commitment to come out.
Yeah, you're
might as well
there.
just stick it out.
What's 5 or 10 more minutes, and then you miss that. So
yeah, so it was exciting.
Their loss. Yeah. So fun game. In the end, you can't forget about how bad it was at the beginning, though.
Yeah, we got the win, but it was bad. There was some definite addressing need to be happening there.
Yeah,
it was just a bunch of defensive breakdowns. Like there was 2-on-1s and breakaways and
bad passes. And the power play brutal.
The power play has really been struggling lately.
Yeah, that's not just this game. It extended into Calgary a little bit and Moose Jaw. So So getting into Calgary, now this game, it was exciting, but it was kind of because it was sloppy on both ends.
It was back and forth. At least we showed up to start the game.
Yeah, so I'm happy about that. Calgary played an ugly, ugly game. Some of the stuff that we took advantage of, which is what we have to do, but they were coughing it up and bad passes and middle of the ice passes and just ugly.
It was kind of both ways too. Like we weren't playing that well either.
Exactly. Fun again. Even though this team isn't playing for much right now, there's still fun games to be at.
Yeah,
and they're playing hard. Other than maybe that little bit in the Kootenay game, so it was a lot of fun to be at. Kind of a weird goal I heard on. So this was the goal that it wasn't even really called off. It just was never called.
A goal. Yeah.
I guess the referee came over and explained that he had just lost sight of it,
and that's understandable,
right? And they were explaining that they don't have audio tied to the review, so they can't tell when the whistle went.
The whistle went way after. If you watch the highlights on the website, the whistle goes way after the puck's in the net, because the ref was on the one side of the net, and if he would have stayed there, he would have seen it go in, but he circled kind of behind the net and then to the other side.
It was just that moment
as he was going to the other side of the net,
and then
he lost sight.
He would have seen it.
Yeah, and that's understandable. You can't fault them for that, but it's bad. Like when everybody knows it went in the net.
Like the replay guy was just like back and forth,
just
showing it. But he had to. In the end, it's okay. If we would have lost because of that, I think I would have been a little more upset. But in the end,
I don't understand why they can't just the goal went in. It was a good goal. It's not like it was not an illegal goal or whatever. Like it clearly went in. It was clearly shot in by Nyhoff. Like Setoff, was it?
Yeah, it would have been Setoff's goal.
Okay, I thought it was Nyhoff in front there, but either way, it was a good goal. But you just lose sight of it, and
because it's in the net. I lost sight because it's in the net.
Yeah,
why can't you say that?
I know that's tough.
I don't get it always.
Like I know they've been talking about trying to change, like even the NHL, because if that happened in the NHL, I think it would be still no goal, right? If they don't say it's a goal on the ice, they can't give it a goal. I don't think so.
I don't know. In the end, it's okay, but it was certainly at the time not a happy moment for us.
No.
Cool game though. We each won a puck. Each won one of the signed pucks with the multiplier rule they went with because they missed the Kootenay first goal contest, so they came back and even added a signed jersey to whoever scored the game winning goal.
So we needed a win.
Yeah. So that was cool.
Thanks to a little suggestion by Matt here.
I don't want to take all the credit, but it seems convenient that I mentioned when they apologized that they didn't have one for the Kootenay game. I said, well, you should have a signed jersey instead of a puck. So they even upped the ante and had the multiplier rule, plus they had the signed jersey for the game-winning goal. And I picked Nyhoff, and so I was in on the
jersey,
the draw, or however they do it for the jersey. But I just ended up with the puck, which is okay too.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
Yeah, I picked up Pierce, and he got the second goal. So
yeah, that was a good pick because that was his first game back.
Yeah.
So that was a good pick. I didn't really expect to win this game, so that was nice to get these points. And again, if you didn't hear last episode, the reason why these points are important is just keeping up with and hopefully getting past Prince George here. And the main reason for that is if we can surpass them, we get out of the bottom 3 teams in the league, and therefore our number 1 pick that Saskatoon owns won't go into the draw for the first pick overall, which again, we assume, well, it should be Matt Savoy, regardless if he's
playing next year or not.
Granted the exceptional status or not, he will be the first pick overall. And you were saying you saw him playing in the Canada games.
Yeah.
And he
had a natural hat trick against Saskatchewan.
Right. There was a lot of goals in that game, so I don't know if that's the it was a 12-0 game.
It was still early. It was 1-0 when I turned it on.
Yeah.
And when I left to go to the game, it was 6-0.
Yeah.
And that was still in the second period. I was just like, ooh, I should not have turned this game on. But yeah, he had a real nice shot from the icing line. So he's a right-hand shot, and so he's at the icing line, and he shoots at top corner far side. Like, it was just a nice shot. Like, the goalie was just a little too deep in his net, and he picked the far corner. It was just like, wow.
So he's got some skill.
Yeah.
He could be something. And that's why we want him the best chance out of our division. So if PG has their pick,
they still own their first pick.
So if they're in the bottom 3, they'll get their pick.
And they own Swift Current's pick.
And they own Swift's. And then we're only looking at Kootenay or Winnipeg. So he could end up in our division regardless, but at least if it's PG with 2 picks, we're only looking at a 1 in 3 chance rather.
Yeah, and I think I'd rather see him go to Winnipeg than Saskatoon.
Yeah.
If we had the choice, Winnipeg is going to need the help.
Yeah, Winnipeg's not going to be a good team. But if you had... So if Savoy plays next year and he's as good as he could be, or we think he might be...
Him and Krebs.
Well, in Saskatoon, you have Doc. And
definitely.
Team.
Saskatoon's going to be good again next year.
Yeah, and I guess you bring a good point of Krebs and him.
For at least 1 year.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think he'll be going to the NHL
either way
next year, but...
Kind of on the topic of the Canada games, I watched the gold medal game after the Calgary game it was on. It was a late game. They were playing. It must have been because they had the bronze medal game
earlier,
before that, so they had to have a bit of time in between. And it was between Quebec and Ontario, and it was a darn good game. It was like a lot of fun to watch. I picked it up, and it was Quebec was up 2-0. Ontario scored 3 in the second, I think it was, and Quebec got 1 in the third to tie it up and went into overtime. And leading into overtime, man, it was crazy. The goaltenders are playing awesome. I even like the Quebec goaltender, what's his name? Blackburn. If we don't hear his name again, I'd be surprised. Maybe he just had a really good game. And I know they're young, but if we don't hear of him in the queue or something, I'd be surprised because he looked really good. He was having like Max Paddock style saves and keeping them in, and yeah, it was really pretty exciting. And Quebec ended up winning that. So
yeah, all those guys are going to be drafted this spring here,
right,
to the Q and the O. So
there must have been a bunch of scouts there.
Yeah, I'm sure there would have been.
Yeah,
I know Draft Geek was there. They were watching games.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, a little off topic, but let's get back to. So we're done with the Calgary game.
We got to mention the Nyhoff goal, like the overtime winner.
That goal, I don't know what happened. It was an end-to-end game. I mean, it's 3-on-3, so there's a bit more room to do that.
Yeah, you just got by the guy in our zone, and he's coming down. I said to you, I'm like, oh, here you go. Here's your boy. He's gonna score. And
Nighthawks, here he comes, and
Zamula, he kind of backed away because there was a 2-on-1.
Yeah,
he moved over to take the pass away.
And goalie had the shot. He just
sniped
a nice shot.
Corner.
Yeah, top corner, and that was that. Yeah, it was so good for him. He's heating up a little bit.
Yeah,
here, so that's
definitely.
Great. So into Moose Jaw, kind of a ugly game from top to bottom.
Bad start again. We didn't even show up in the first period.
We had 2 shots.
Yeah, it was 3, then the rescinded one for some reason. I don't know. We got to talk about Moose Jaw's stats people there. We'll talk about that later. But
yeah.
But yeah, so we had 2 shots in the first period, and we were still in it because of Paddock. He made that glove save again.
He made some good saves.
He kept us in it.
Yeah. Right on. That was an early one, too.
Yeah, it was a couple minutes in.
So going into the second period, not looking great. But again, whatever this team does, they weather the storm and get 2 shots in 1 period. And then lo and behold,
Get the power play.
Get a power play and a goal. And then it's 2-1. And then we tie it up. It's 2-2. And you're thinking, okay, we shouldn't be here.
We capitalized on the few opportunities we got.
Yeah.
Puto gift pass from Josh Brook.
Yeah.
He just snipes the top corner. And
just
then
gave it right to him.
And then a neutral zone face-off. We kind of lose the draw, but Alkmaar makes a hit, knocks the guy down, and sends in Wright and whoever else on the other side 2-on-1, and Wright snipes one.
Just a nice shot.
Yeah, then it's 2-2.
Yeah. Unfortunately, luck seemed to kind of run out. Was it the third goal?
The third goal, yeah.
Third goal, which is just such a shame because it kind of. I mean, we were getting outplayed and whatever, but we were in it.
Yeah, we're still in
it. And then that third goal just was it. I think
Langan just goes to the net. Doesn't even get a shot, and it bounces off a couple legs, and Crane just goes to clear it.
Yeah.
And it hits
a backhand off Brook.
And into the net.
It was it was nothing. They could have, I know, and then
the breakdown in the last 40 seconds there on the face-off, and Langan beats Crane to the net. And
so then it's 4-2.
4-2, and then,
because the third goal, I thought, okay, that was unlucky. They didn't deserve it. We'll
whatever. Still 3-2.
Yeah.
But that fourth goal was that was it. That was the dagger. But we took some bad penalties. Pierce, 2 bad penalties.
Yeah. He
ran the goalie.
Yes.
Early in the game, he took that 4-minuter first. That was a bad play.
Yeah.
But Wu hit Cole right in the head. There was no call. Cole was down, and then Pierce took exception to it. I don't know who he hit, but he crushed somebody into the boards.
Mm-hmm.
But then Wu comes in, and greasy old Wu. Clayton's down on the ice, and he gives them 3 good cross checks, and there's no call. I don't know how they let that go.
Wu is the player I love to hate on that team.
I think the rivalry might be heating up here with Moose Jaw.
If he's there next year again, which he should be, it's gonna he'll stir the pot.
And then Pierce takes the other penalty, runs a goalie, and then Brook comes in and just starts feeding him.
Yeah,
and then Pierce doesn't throw any punches.
I don't think he did.
No, it didn't look like it, and he still gets an extra penalty.
Yeah, so he got the interference and a roughing.
Yeah, and still a power play from Moose Jaw, it should have been goalie interference and roughing on Brook. Nothing. Yeah. Not an extra one to Pierce.
No, I didn't think so either.
We didn't deserve to win that game at all. So
no, and it's too bad. It was a nationally televised game, right? So we're getting a buddy of mine out in Nova Scotia messaging me and Herdcast and.
Yeah, Moncton, Steve from Fanboys. He's like, man, that was a bad period. I'm like,
yeah. So it wasn't great. We're kind of on the national spotlight
Hopefully
stage
we
there.
Can make up for it next Saturday.
The other thing people were messaging us about, and I saw we tried to stir it up a little bit, but then Vanstone really got it going, and how bad it looked on TV, and he took some pictures.
That was Rod Peterson. Sent out those pictures.
Oh, Peterson, sorry. Yeah, you're right. He got it. He was stirring the pot, got it going, talking about the attendance, how poor it was.
Bad, yeah.
It looked bad on TV, and then the pictures he took were even worse.
I was surprised.
And you can never trust the attendance, the official attendance, they say, because
It said over 3,000. Yeah, I looked, but there was no way that was there.
And I mean, that's what the first thing the guy from Nova Scotia asked me was, why is it so the stands look awfully thin there? What's going on? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know why Moose Jaw can't get the people there. And people are making excuses that it was a Saturday afternoon and maybe that, but that's not this is just the one example. We've been to other games and seen other games on
we're watching all these away games.
And it's not just Moose Jaw.
No.
It's not Moose Jaw. The West Coast swing they had, the PG, there was hardly anyone there.
Yeah.
Red Deer was low. I don't know. So it brings up the point of and people are saying it's just too expensive. And I don't know. We look at our tickets. We're sticking with bronze this year. We thought, well, maybe it's worth going to silver. And the price versus where you're going to sit isn't as much. If you could get into gold, if you could justify this price, that's when you get the nice seats.
Yeah.
It's gold, but not so much silver.
Yeah. But for the bronze price point, $10 a game.
It's awesome. Yeah. You can't beat that.
But I understand people are like, well, we're not going to buy 4 season tickets, right?
Yeah, I can see
for
that.
a family, right? And then it is $100, $25-ish a game.
Yeah, it is.
Right. So
yeah,
but it's
I don't know. Is that too much? Like,
yeah,
how much is it to go to a movie now?
Yeah, well, it's over. What is it? $12?
Oh, at least.
At least
I don't go to movies.
No, I don't either.
But I don't. What is the price? And I don't know what the magic price is to get people there. Is that the only thing that are keeping people? You think?
I don't know. Yeah,
it seemed to be the most common thing people were saying on that Twitter thread was
Saturday afternoon. Yeah.
Saturday afternoon and the cost. But
I mean, look at our Sunday afternoon games. I mean, they are a little bit later in the day, 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
The attendance is always good on Sundays, and you can see the amount of kids on Sunday games.
Yeah.
Like it's packed on Sunday games with kids.
Totally, it's because I mean, I have a younger child, so that is one of the only few games you can get. If taking him to a 7 o'clock game isn't really that feasible, that's what time he's going to bed. So
yeah,
I don't know. But then the price, $25. If it's just you, but when you do, you multiply it times your family. Yeah, you're looking at least $75 to $100 for a game.
Yeah, what you choose to spend your money on, right?
Yeah.
There's obviously other options in the city to do, plenty of options. So it's just what you decide to spend your money on. And we do have a much larger base to draw from, like Moose rather than Moose Jaw, right?
Right.
Maybe they built their building a little too big, right?
Yeah.
Because they had struggles last year, and they had the best team in the WHL, and they couldn't draw during the regular season. We had the best team in the WHL, and we were selling out all the time.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't sell until game days. You could get a ticket if you bought in advance, but I had no problems buying tickets until the third round of the playoffs.
Right.
So, like, you could get tickets if you bought them in advance, but they were selling out.
And maybe you're right. It is just the size of the building, and that's their expected crowd. Is that few thousand people? Like,
same thing in Medicine Hat. They did the opposite. They moved. They had the downtown rink 4,006 every night for 20 years, and then they build a new building a little out of town, and people are making excuses, and now they can't. They haven't sold out. I don't think that building more than a dozen times in the last 3 years since they moved out there. So
yeah, I don't have the answer. It's just an interesting topic. We certainly see the value, but we're also only paying that $10, $11, $12 per game.
Yeah,
if it starts getting up to that 28, when we bought that one ticket in Moose Jaw, the playoff ticket was quite a bit. It was like $30, wasn't it?
It's been a while.
Something
I can't remember
that. And even the playoff tickets here were getting up to that.
Yeah, because they always up at $1 or $2 every round, kind of thing. Yeah. So
I don't think we're going to see a big change based on attendance. I don't know, but when you look at hockey, they'll look at Florida and this and that, or even baseball where there's thousands and thousands of empty seats, but they're not relying that much on ticket sales. It's the TV deals, right?
Yeah, for pro sports,
right? But Sub doesn't have that.
No,
so
we rely all on ticket sales and sponsorship.
Really important. So, and they're not getting it. I don't know. I don't know what the health of the league or the team is, what they have to do to break even, where they're at.
Yeah, Moose Jaw wise, I think we're doing good.
I think we are.
Has been good.
Yeah.
Since the new ownership's come in, our attendance has been real good.
Absolutely.
And we've discussed that before, so
I don't know. Yeah, we're not going to have an answer here. We're just talking about it. And
that's above our pay grade, that's for sure.
Just an interesting topic. And
yeah. So one other thing from the Moose Jaw. So we lose a shot in that first period. I don't know, who decides to take away a shot at that point.
Who's sitting there reviewing it?
Yeah, I don't know. Because there's multiple guys, like in Regina, there's multiple guys, and they live discuss, was that a shot on net, blah, blah, and they count it, go from there. But yeah, you take away a shot. But so this assist
from 3 to 2.
yeah, thanks. And then you, I don't know, maybe they'll go back and rescind these 2 assists, but on that Brook goal that Crane put off Brooken in the net, Langan and Tracy both got assists. And I'm like, that's just stat padding.
Yeah.
And even WHL tweeted out 3-point nights for them, and I commented, I'm like, actually, it's 2-point nights. Check the video.
Yeah.
So they better go back.
There's
just stat and pats, because it is local guys that do it. So I mean, they are work for the WHL.
Yeah,
so they're supposed to be neutral, but
they're not going to be. I want to borrow a little bit of a segment from our buddies over in Halifax, the Herdcast. They do a weekly Player of the Week. So each host has someone they want to talk about and highlight as a Player of the Week. And they pick both a defensive and an offensive player. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to pick Puto as my defensive Player of the Week. 1 goal, 1 assist against Kootenay. Started that comeback for us. And I also want to highlight he had a couple nice hits on Moose Jaw. I think he rubbed out Langen pretty nicely one time. And my offensive player will be Nyhoff. He's kind of becoming one of my favorite players. I didn't realize he's young too, right? He's only 17. He's gonna grow with us a little bit more. And they were talking about post game how him and Stru taking majority of the face-offs. I mean, he's not up there. He's a little less than 50%, but something he can get up to. He's playing the top line on other teams, so he's getting some experience in the face-off circle. Hopefully, something we can get up, and then after a year or something, if he can get up to, I mean, it's big shoes to fill, but Lecition style where you can trust him to win more face-offs, because we do notice that's a big part of our game that we miss on power plays and things like that. It's a face-off loss and then get shot down. It's 20, 25 seconds wasted on an already slow-moving power play. So it'd be really nice to see him step up to that. But why I picked him this week, he had the tying goal against Kootenay, and then that awesome overtime winning goal against Calgary. So yeah, I'm really happy with him. He's kind of coming into one of my more favorite players on the team.
Yeah, no, he's looked good past few games, definitely. I'm going to go with Garrett Wright for forward of the week.
Okay.
He had 3 goals coming in to this last little bit here all season, and then now he's got 3 in the last 5 games. Plus, he had the shootout winner against Kootenay.
Yeah.
So that doesn't count as a goal, but it's a goal, right? And both Calgary and the Moose Jaw goals, just real nice shots, top corner. Like,
yeah, he's a good player.
You see that skill, like you see a glimpse of it, and he's still only 17 as well.
Yeah.
So in a year, in 2 years, like these guys can be putting up, maybe he looks at 15 to 20 goals next year, 25 to 30 in 2 years,
totally,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
For my defensive player, I'm going to go with Walker. He's just been solid. Like, he's not flashy out there. He's playing just solid D.
He's a really good defenseman.
Yeah, and
he
doesn't seem to be out of place. Like, we've had some defensive breakdowns lately. He's a steady Eddie kind of guy. Physical.
And to have him here next year, anchoring that back end, he's gonna be a leader on this team too, I think.
Yeah.
Now, we don't have a report yet, and so he got hurt in that Moose Jaw game.
Yeah.
Which actually reminds me of that goal. I don't think would have happened. He both lost his stick and he was
hurt,
clutching I think it was his right arm. So I hope that's nothing too major.
Right, and that reminded me, the forward's got to give the defenseman a stick. You can't. Yeah. Defenseman has to have a stick.
That goal happened solely because Walker didn't have a stick.
Exactly.
He was in the right spot.
He was right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
maybe he's got to be right physically against the guy.
Yeah, but he couldn't do that much either. It looked like his arm was
true.
So I hope that's nothing too serious for him.
Well, yeah, especially we've got a couple forward injuries here. Dubinsky's out still. No word on that. We'll see. Maybe on Tuesday there's something come out, but he's out. Now Stru's out.
Yeah,
he could be out for a while.
Yeah.
Oof, that was bad. Oh, and Kaslik got 2 games for that.
Okay, I hadn't heard that. Good.
But yeah, I think honorable mention for kind of forward of the last week has been Massier too, as well.
No kidding.
He's had a couple nice goals.
We're starting. I don't want to. We draw a lot of parallels to when we had the success, but if we could, maybe just stretch here a little bit, we're thinking Wagner 2.0 for him.
Yeah, he's got some speed.
He's got speed. He's got some hands. Maybe even, I don't want to say better hands than Wagner, but Wagner always seemed to. He had the speed, but he didn't have the finish. Massier's getting
he's getting some
those
good
goals.
Looks.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely honorable mention to him. So, I mean, looking at that, picking some of these players, the player of the week, all these young guys, and they're going to be around in So exciting times still. I'm happy with this week, how it went. And looking forward to next week. Some familiar foes coming in. We got Red Deer on Wednesday, who really are struggling.
They're on a slide.
They were, when they came here last time, I thought, I picked them to possibly win the East. They were looking damn good, and they have just fallen apart. They are now on the outside looking in on this on the wild card race, which is actually a pretty exciting race when you look. You got Red Deer, Brandon, Medicine Hat, Calgary, all within a few points of each other. Red Deer again looking in from the outside.
Yeah, Brandon's had a couple of big wins here lately.
Brandon beat PA twice, which helped them a lot, and Red Deer is struggling. They did their U.S. road trip. They had to vacate for the Canada Games. That's where it was. So they were on their road trip, and yeah, they need to pick it up here. So they're going to be looking at us thinking, okay, we can get some points here.
Yeah.
But we've played them well already recently. So that's a big game for both teams, really. Again, we want every point we can get, which leads us into Saskatoon on the Friday. Saskatoon's playing freaking good right now. They bumped up into the CHL top 10, actually. So they're getting recognized nationally, and this is going to be a tough game, I think. It's in Saskatoon as well. So
yeah, they just went to shootout with Kootenay on Friday night, I think it was. But yeah, one of those maybe lapses.
Trap games or whatever, right? Overall, they were very good.
Yes, they've been
very good.
Real hot. But I was a little surprised when I seen that.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah, it was Saturday night last night.
I think Saskatoon was up 3-0. They were up a fair bit on Kootenay, and Kootenay came back on them. And then Saskatoon did end up winning in overtime shootout. And then we have our good buddies, Nick and Jake, coming back on the Saturday.
Yeah, homecoming for them. No, it was a Saturday. It's Saturday. The CHL game again.
Yeah. Which is weird why we have two CHL Spotlight national games in a row, but whatever, we'll take it. This one's at home against Lethbridge. Again, a 2:30 start for anyone. You got to make sure you're there for 2:30, not 7 o'clock like I think it says on our calendars.
Hopefully the team shows up for 2:30 as well.
Yeah, no kidding. And these early games, they don't seem to do well.
And that road trip when we were playing later, they played a lot
played
better in the first period.
But it'll be tough, though, because you're playing Saskatoon.
I know.
So you're not going to get home till late, right?
Yeah.
Probably 12, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Rolling into town and then get to bed.
Oh, and you can't. It's tough to get to sleep right away.
Yeah. So they got to get up and get going. Take some smelling salts or something and get going. And I don't know what Lethbridge is doing the night before.
Yeah, Lethbridge is in Moose Jaw the night before. So it's going to be a tough one for both teams.
Depends if they cheap out and don't get a hotel room and they just try and sleep on the bus or something stupid like they've done before. But I would imagine they'll be well rested for that game. It'll be nice to see Nick Henry and Jake Lasician. Scott Mahovlich, he was injured. I don't know if he's back yet. So either way, be good to see those boys back. I'm sure they'll get a nice welcome.
Definitely.
You're going to try and get an autograph?
Yeah, maybe. See what happens.
At the bus? Otherwise, around the league, again, tight race there in the East. We're looking at, you should keep an eye on some of those games. Kind of exciting to see how that'll play out. You know what's actually, I was just looking, the West, Kamloops and Seattle. So Kamloops is only a few points back of Seattle with a few games in hand. So if Seattle Seattle is pretty good, but if they run into, who knows, an injury here or there, or they play some good teams, Kamloops could, if they get hot, they could bump out Seattle for that 8th spot. I mean, regardless, that's gonna be a tough first round for whoever gets that 8th spot.
Yeah, and you think Everett's locked into that, but they're not. Actually, Vancouver's hot on their heels. They're 4 points back with 2 games in hand, so it's real close for the first overall in the West. And we were hoping Kamloops could pull out a win there in PG.
Yeah,
Friday night.
Yeah,
they went to a shootout. And we're like, oh, yeah. All right, we got the win. Okay, we need Kamloops to win. Okay, go shootout. Yeah. Okay, we'll beat them in a shootout at least.
Yeah.
And they couldn't.
No.
PG broke, what was it, a 17 game?
Yeah, I just saw that on Dub Network. 17-game losing streak they were on.
Jeez. I knew they were had a slide, but I didn't realize it was 17
Even
games.
when we were in the middle of January, we were struggling so badly. I don't think we got close to that many. We were at 9 or 10-ish, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
17.
that's brought us back into
that's why they're so far down. I remember thinking, what happened to them? And yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah. Maybe they're just tanking for Savoy. So
Maybe. Well, they should keep tanking.
yeah, you guys can take them.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to go over?
I think that's about it for this week.
Yeah.
A couple exciting games.
Yeah, a couple games. We had some good games. Hopefully have some exciting games again this week. Some good teams coming in. Welcome back, Nick and Jake. And again, that is at a 2:30 start time for the CHL Showcase on Saturday.
Yeah, you got to come out, fill the building, so it looks better than Moose Jaw, that's for sure.
Yeah, because we talked a bit of shit, so
yeah,
we need everyone to show up to that one. So come on out, and we will see you guys at the rink. All right, good night.
Good night.
And Nyhoff will pick it up for the Pats, skate up the left wing. He's got Pratt with him 2-on-1. Nyhoff left wing across the line to the net, and he scores! Logan Nyhoff! And the